And so my name's Jared Holmes, and I want to welcome you all because over the next 50 minutes, right, what I'm going to be showing you is our exclusive sniper method that's currently helping people like yourself to completely automate their lead outreach in less than 50 minutes, which is pretty cool, right? Because let's all admit it, outreach is probably one of the biggest gaps in people's market, and it's probably the one that's easily neglected. And it's also one of those things that people just get a bit icky about. They go, oh, lead generation, right? Like I've got to do emails or phone calls or text messages or DMs, it's so much work. And so I'm going to be showing you some really cool stuff on this call where you're going to be able to see how we pull all of this together. So what we're going to be doing, raise of hands, is if you're happy to look at a system to do that, let's get some arms in the air, let's get some ones in the chat, and let's start putting this together. But I do ask a favor of you guys, right? I want you to make me a promise. And the promise is that I ask you to please use these skills not for evil, because we are all in a position of power being in a business, and we can actually use some of our techniques and tactics that we may learn over the years to do the wrong thing. And I can tell you right now, living in a state with or a city with 80,000 people, one thing that I've learned is word of mouth is a very, very powerful thing in a local area. And if you do the wrong thing, I've seen people's names turn to mud. Right. So we need to make sure that we're doing all of this ethically in the right way, so that way you're holding your reputation, you're improving your brand, and everyone just ends up loving you. So if you're happy to agree with that, just pop a Y in the chat, and that would be awesome, so that we know that everyone's using their skills for good. All right. So on this event, we're going through the sniper method, right? It's completely automating your lead outreach. It's helping you to close more sales, right? Plus, you've probably noticed that you're not just going to be staring at a screen. In fact, I want you to actually start making more sales. I want you to be able to connect with more people, right? And so I just want this to be interactive for you as well. So if that sounds good to you, let's jump into it. What I ask is for you to take advantage of this time that we have together, because time together is a very valuable resource. I can tell you right now that I do not take time for granted, because that's one thing that we don't get back. Money is something that we can actually get back. And so the fact that you guys have decided to give me 50 minutes of your life to jump on this call to look at lead generation strategies, I'm extremely grateful for that. And basically what I'm going to do is throw in the kitchen sink with what we can show you as far as ways to do all of this yourself. So what I ask you to do is turn off any distractions that might be sitting around you, right? Make sure you're taking notes. Okay, I don't mind how you do that on a phone, on a piece of paper, scribbling it off to voice notes in AI, however that works for you. But the other part of this is the more that you guys give me, the more that I give. So if I'm like, does that sound good? And it's just like, right? I can tell you right now, it's like, mate, what are you doing? It's like low energy. It's not helping me to build that up for you guys. So the more that you're giving with me, the better it is for me. That means that if I'm asking for ones, if I'm asking for Ys, if I'm asking for whoops, right? Get amongst it, get around it. Those one, I can see Leo smiling at that. He's like, I'm not whooping anyone on this call, right? But it's about having fun with this, guys. Business is fun. Sales is fun. Outreach is fun. You can probably tell I love the shit out of this stuff, right? I get really excited by it. And then the really cool part of this is those that are sticking around towards the end, those of you that are coming along are going to get my free objection handling download. Okay, this thing's normally valued at $199 when we're selling it, but it's an amazing 3-step system that I've been using for over a decade. It's how we first were teaching people when we started our business years ago in sales coaching. And we've had people that are startups in business that have little to no sales experience. We've had people that have trained with everyone that have been able to use this system and still be able to use this moving forward. Okay, it's super, super, super powerful, and it's going to allow you to crush those objections that you're getting. Does that sound good to everyone? Can I get a whoop whoop or a Y in the chat? Leo's giving me a thumbs up. That. I'll take that instead of a whoop whoop. I'll take that. That's good. Good signs. Boom, boom, boom. So let's kick this off, guys. Who knows who this is? Shavi's got the whoop whoops. Who knows who this is? Pop it in the chat. Who knows who this person is? Mr. Mark. Yep, you've got it. So this is Mark Zuckerberg, right? He's the guy that is the co-founder of Facebook. He's over in your neck of the woods. He was doing all of this from a college dorm room in 2004, dropped out of Harvard University. Now, what you guys would know, because you're all sitting similar ages to me, is that this grew massive popularity, right, back in 2012. And what it ended up doing was making Zuckerberg one of the youngest billionaires in the world. All right. Now, in addition to that, he's then founded and invested in several other companies, including things like the other apps that we're using, such as Instagram and WhatsApp. So, a question for you. I want you guys to pop in the chat a guess on what you think the Meta platform's gross annual profit was for 2022. Not for the year that we're in now, for 2022. What do you think the gross annual profit was? Anyone want to have a guess of that in the chat? Let's see what we've got coming in here. And no answer's a bad answer, by the way, guys. No judgment. Everyone's mateship in Australia. Let's do it. 3 billion, right? We've got 3 billion in there. The answer to this, right, is the annual gross profit, a couple of $1 trillion. It sounds more like that. So the annual gross profit for them for 2022 was just over 91 billion. Okay. So in short, the guy loves money and he's good with it. Now, I've seen people spend small budgets and large budgets on ads, right, to come short. So let's get some action happening here. All right. I've got a question for you. Who here has been burnt by a Meta ad agency, or they're not in love with the current ad results that they're getting? Put a 2 in the chat, right? Put a 2 in the chat if you've been with an ad agency and you've been burnt by them, or you're not currently in love with the current ad results that you're getting doing stuff yourself. Okay. And it's quite interesting when we ask this question, because when people jump on and have a look at this, you actually see that there's a common theme to this, right? The common theme is that people actually are finding that they're spending a lot of money in some of these platforms and not getting the ideal result, right? But what ends up happening is people continue to do it. And then what ends up happening is it just feeds the profits of Zuck so that he can then sit back and go, wow, this is a fantastic platform that makes me a lot of money. Now, this is also the really passionate reason why I'm going to show you everything on this call, because a few years ago when we first started our business, we were offering business owners, sales reps, BDMs, sales coaching across Australia, right? And so we met them on web events just like today, which is amazing. We're running ads. I then hired RJ to keep up with lead inquiry. The business was growing. We're all happy and we're all profitable. Okay. Then what happened was I met an agency over in Western Australia, and they were like, we want to work with you. We feel like we can take things to the next level. You can just focus on your sales coaching. And so they kept on being persistent, and they said, I said, how much is it going to cost me? They said $6,000. And I went, righto, let's do this. So I signed up, right, for what I thought was an early Christmas present on Christmas Eve. And it was $6,000, right, to do this. Sign the agreement, and then I get straight to work. Now, when I say I get straight to work, they start asking me to record and film out and edit the videos. And then a few days later, they go, hey, Jared, just wanted to let you know those ads are up live. Thanks for your time, right? Place a 2 in the chat if you've experienced something like this before, okay? Because who here thinks that me creating my own ads and them setting them up on the Meta platform is worth $6,000 so far, right? Basically, some hard conversations came up. I said, look, I just want to cancel, guys. This ain't working out. They're like, no, Jared, we've got this. We're going to help you out. You know, we're all in. We're all on making your business grow. It led to random things. For example, one webinar that we had 14 registrations at $100 each. When I queried the price to the owner, he said that, Jared, they're mega qualified, right? These leads are super qualified. That's why they're $100 each. The fun fact of that was none of them were reachable. We couldn't text, call, email, and guess how many showed up on the webinar? Zilch. So we had a week alone that cost us $1,400 in registrations, okay? So put a Y in the chat if you'd be feeling pretty pissed by this stage, because long story short, it ended up costing me $18,000, right, in 4 months. That's $4,500 plus a month, plus a $6,000 contract, plus my time and effort working with my team and their team. And guess how many sales I made? Whew, donuts. I made one sale, and the sale that I made was from running ads previously to the agency coming in to give me a hand. Okay. So I don't want to go into a sob story, but losing that kind of money in a short period of time has a massive impact on cash flow, right? So I had to make some drastic changes to do that. where I was then fortunate to meet another marketer named Johan, who not only helped guide me to getting a refund from that agency, but then also helped me with learning these new ways to find the ideal high ticket clients, which helped me recover the cost. But it's the exact system, right, that we call the sniper method that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Okay. So fast forward to now, I operate at a super high level, right? And that is in the space of sales and marketing. And so people go, well, how'd you get there? Because I come from a background of glazing, which is doing window fabrication and things like that. Okay. But I'm super fortunate because I have ADHD. I'm ambitious. I'm a victim of ambition. And so I obsess over a lot of things that I get a really good kick out of. So rather than getting addicted to the wrong things like drugs, which would have completely taken my life in a different direction, I decided to put it into sales, business, and marketing, right? And it's allowed me to work with amazing people over the years where I can then take the learnings and share it with people that we work with to today. So our goal jumping into this, okay, is if you're looking to secure a high ticket business client, you're in for an absolute bloody treat, okay? Because what we're going to be doing is showing you lead generation that early adopters are doing now with AI and a few other tools to close new business, right? We're then going to go through outreach without all the long hours and the hard work you might already be experiencing or using with things like automation. And the last part of the event is closing more deals more often, right? Why is closing sales important? Because sales is the oxygen of a business. I want you to write this down. Without sales, business fails, right? And like just sticky note that to your computer. Without sales, business fails. Because if you don't have sales, you don't have a business. If you're not making sales and you're a startup, you have a very expensive hobby. All right. So if this sounds good to you, chuck a Y in the chat. We're going to jump into this. We've got a couple of different myths that we're going through here. Okay. Myth number one is high ticket business leads are only for big companies, right? The reality of this is with the right strategies, tools, or even outsourcing, you can make this now because it's cost effective and you can now uncover the hidden opportunities. Okay. Myth number two is then landing those high ticket clients takes hard work. I literally used to be one of these people that used to think this, right? What happens is you put a huge focus on using more of your time to try and find these contacts, and often you end up burning yourself out, right? So I'm going to help you to shift your hard work ethics to working smarter. With that way, then it's giving you more of your time back, it's giving you more of your money back, and it's allowing you to charge more to clients, but you're able to deliver even more value to your clients, right? That's the benefit of it. You don't want to have these small ticket clients that are just trying to rip out your soul, trying to work with you for little to no money, all right? Myth number three, right? Clients don't want to work with me. There's many, many reasons why people don't want to work with you. And often the first one is just a facade. They just put something up to like smoke bomb you, right? And throw you off the trail. So what we need to do is we need to know how to deal with common objections to find the real reason they're saying no, and then work on that so that you can close the deal. So if you're ready to do this lead generation and really crush it in the next few moments, guys, pop a 4 in the chat so we can get started with this. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right. So jumping into myth number one, high ticket business leads are only for big companies. Okay. This is a common belief that I've seen all over Oz, right? Which is typically holding businesses back, especially the smaller ones. People think that valuable leads are only accessible to the large guys, the large corporations, the people with the big budgets. But the truth to the matter is that with the right approach, now businesses of any size can access and benefit high quality leads. Okay. Because many of you might also assume that getting these leads requires more resources, a big advertising budget, or having the Rolodex of exclusive connections, but it's not the case anymore. Thanks to things like the digital tools that are in the market now, things like the internet, data analytics, right? Artificial intelligence. What we're able to do now is effectively identify your target potential customers. Okay. Now, this is because technology has literally leveled the playing field for everyone. So now you can compete with everyone and thrive. And it doesn't actually matter the size of your business anymore. Okay. So really any business can tap into that wealth of opportunity as long as you're able to leverage those tools to then find them. So I want to challenge the perception that you might be thinking about finding those leads, because they are within reach when we're talking about this. And it's such an amazing opportunity living in the world right now where you can actually thrive in a competitive market. Okay. Now, to go over some older ways of finding leads, I often joke about this in Australia, but some of you may not know what the thing on the right is, but you might have something that's similar to this. Okay. This is Google and Yellow Pages. Now, once upon a time back in the 90s, that book on the right-hand side used to be 2 of them, and it used to list all of the businesses that were available in your local area, right? And so it was almost like a shopping guide to work out who was in there and what you could do with them. Now, you guys would probably have something similar where you're based, just not called the Yellow Pages. But these books were massive back then, right? And so on the left-hand side, you'll then see Google. The other option was people were Googling businesses that they thought they wanted to work with. And so what ends up happening is you start going through and you start building out a list, very similar to that one showing up on the screen, right? You get a spreadsheet open, you start looking out for their business name, the email. Is there an owner contact on their website? Have a look on their social media. Can you see a first name of the person that runs a joint? Because what you're doing is you're trying to enrich the data manually to try and find the right person rather than trying to go for an info ad, a contact ad, a hello ad. Okay. I'd actually love to get a bit of engagement here. I'd love to get a why in the chat if anyone's done this before. I've done this before, so I know what that's like. And so what ends up happening is whether you're using Google or whether you're using the Yellow Pages or a directory similar to where you're located, you then start trying to build out this list, which is great because you're like, okay, well, I've got a list. But what ends up happening is if you don't do anything with that list or you write it down on a notepad, right? And you're like, well, here's my list. I've been doing a drive all around town and I've been writing down all the businesses in the local area I want to work with. If you don't do anything with that list and you put that list on the shelf, it becomes shelf help. And shelf help is no good to anyone except for filling up the shelf. So we need to take action with that as well. Okay. Now, I can tell you that there's other methods that you can do as well, right? So method 1 would be, all right, well, I've got my list. I'm going to send out an email. The problem that I see is a lot of people send out a generic email that might be something that you can help with, but it's going to like 4 or 5 different industries instead of being hyper-focused to talk about what you do with each industry, right? You might have a few different industries that you work with, but your product or service may work differently for them. All right. Now, the other method, which might make some of you shudder that are on this call, is cold calls, right? So what happens is when you make a cold call, typically what happens is you met with your greatest foe, or what I like to call a gatekeeper, right? This is where you're on the call, you're like, oh, I've got the right details, I'm nearly there. But then you're stopped by the receptionist or a staff member that's either been told to minimize your efforts or they've just been told to literally hard block you and say no. All right. So what happens is you get that person on the phone and they go, oh, look, just send it with some information and we'll give you a call back. Right. Who's experienced that before? Just send it in an email. And what happens is you send it in an email and sometimes you just never even get a reply. But here's a mega, mega fun fact when we're talking about outreach. All right. When we're talking about outreach, the fun fact is this. If you ask for the sale 3 times or more, it increases the chances of someone buying by 70%, right? 70%. That is massive. So to do that, we need to have good data so that we can actually talk to those people and actually try to touch base with them multiple times to do that, which is more than a single email and it's more than a single phone call. So let me show you our secret weapon, right? Our secret weapon is the new way, the way that people are going to be doing things like they are now, but what everyone will be doing in the future, right? We've worked with our developers in Melbourne, Australia to create this tool that sources out market qualified leads, right? Once it's found the business, it then uses AI to search throughout the internet for any additional information about the business, right? Their team members, their names, their job positions, their emails, their phone numbers, how many staff, their social channels. If you're a marketer, what kind of website tech they've got on their website and heaps of other things as well, right? So let's battle test this. What I'd love to do is I'd love for you guys to put into the chat who you serve and maybe a location as well, because it's not an area that I'm familiar with. And we could start to have a look at some options around this. Okay. And then what I'm going to do here is flick over to this screen. And you guys can still see my screen, by the way. Hands, ones, yes, yep. Shabaji's nodded for me. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Okay, so when we're going in here, what we first have is we have a section where we can talk about our business. Okay, we can talk about setting it up so that it knows our business name, our website, what we do and how we help, right? What it does for them, and then our personality. So I've got in here friendly, informative, helpful, and funny. I think I'm a funny bloke, right? I think I'm fairly funny. I don't take things mega serious. And then once we've done that, we've now educated the system on who the heck we are and what we do. Now what we can do is we can go down to our new search. And there's a couple of really cool ways of doing this. We can search by people that are in a certain location. We can search for people that have a certain job type, a certain business. That's what we can do with people search. Industry search, we can look for a specific industry. So it might be a restaurant, hospitality, a law firm, right? And it might be somewhere like Ohio as an example. So we can look for everyone that's in that niche, in that area. Domain is a fun one where you can actually look for a website domain to find contacts within it. Once upon a time, when we first brought this tool out, we were actually doing this with Tesla, and we used to be able to pull up Elon Musk's email address. Super funny, right? And then the last one is the influencer search. This is the most untapped area that I think to date, because if you think about people that are online in social media that have large followings and people follow them for health advice, for cleaning advice, for understanding on what's going on in the tech space, the business space, marketing space, the sales space, these people have a captive audience. And so if you can find the people by those interests, those behaviors, by the amount of people that are following them, the amount of views that they get on their videos, what you can do is start a referral program or a partnership with them where you're offering them a kickback of 10, 20, 30% for them just to talk about how great your product or service is. They're happy because they get paid, and you're doing it in the cheapest way possible because you're just leveraging other people's audiences. Okay, so jumping in here, we'll go to the company search. Then we've got here, I'm going to drop in a niche. I'm imagining that Durham is a location. I'm going to pinch that and just pop that in here. I'm going to go there, and excuse my very unknown location for USA. And then we're going to put in a business type, right? So let's say that we're looking for real estate agents as an example. What we're going to do is create a list, because we're going to be looking for real estate agents in that location. After I can spell correctly. So then we're going to save that list. And we're going to go continue. And there's already 96 plus saved niches inside the system. What's happening now is the software is going out and looking for the contacts in that area. And then what's really cool is once it's found those contacts, it's then going to be using AI to enrich the data. That means that our AI is going to go out looking all over the internet to find people that might have done a podcast or something connected to that domain, so we can find more details of the people that are working there. So you can see here, we've got a few people that have popped up. We could even then move around on the map here and have a look at other areas. We could then bring up this little guy on the map and go, well, let's see if there's any more here in Morrisville. Press continue. And then what you'll notice is that it will then look for real estate agents around Morrisville. Okay. And so notice how quick this is happening. We've just found another 10 results, and now we're starting to get a list that's happening quite quickly. Okay. Now, this isn't the cool part, because the cool part is where we actually go to the list, where we have a look at where the AI is now jumping in to actually start to pull these details together. So notice here that it's saying no email found, because it's still going out and looking out into the areas for those contacts. You can see here where it's actually done the search and completed it. So even if we look at this one here for this real estate, This is the power of what we can do with this tool. Okay, having a look at that, you can then see that we've got phone numbers, we've got first names, we've got last names, and we've also got positions as well. Now, instead of going to the generic contacts or the generic numbers, we can actually address things directly to the people that we want to speak to. How cool is that? Because now what we're able to do is personalize it, and it's because of the power of AI to be able to enrich that. Now, further to this, we can also see their reviews. We can also then see the tech and their social channels as well, right? Now, what's great with this is all information that is available on the internet. So notice that we're not looking at Gmail accounts, we're not looking at Yahoo accounts, we're not looking at any of those personal accounts. We're looking at publicly listed information that's been put online, which then means that this is information that we can use to reach out to those people. Now, if this was personal information and this wasn't publicly listed online, then of course you wouldn't be able to reach out to them because they haven't freely put their information online to be made contactable. But notice that when we're listing our business, our website, our phone number, our email online, it's for people to actually get in contact and do business with us, okay? So once you've seen all that, you can then have a look at AI, where you can then do generate direct messages. You can generate a summary about that business. And what happens is it looks at your business and what we put in for our ideal profile, and then it looks at theirs as well. Okay, so you can see that they're a real estate firm that aims to be the firm of choice for professional agents seeking growth and value. And then you can see that it's talking about how we can actually fit in and give them a hand with their business as well. Notice that we could take these parts of our information to then formulate personalized emails based on that, okay? And so it can generate subject lines, it can then do inboxes and other cool things like that. So that is how you can now instantly pull together information at mass so that you can do something with it. But the next part is that we don't want that to become shelf help, because shelf help is only good to the shelf. So now what I've done is I've shown you how you can actually search for a contact in an industry, as an example, anywhere in the world where they've got internet, right? So that we can find that information for them. And we've been using this all over Australia. But what we then need to do is we need to look at what a sale is worth to you, right? What is one customer worth to you? So I want you to take a minute to look at this now. And I want you to have a look at the average of the product or service that you sell. What I want you to look at is the people that you're working with right now. And you don't have to put this in the chat, but if you want to, you absolutely can. We had a few people doing it last night. If you're looking at this, is the person that you're working with a one-time payment? Are they on a retainer? And if they're on a retainer, is that retainer over 3 months, 36 months? And then what's the value of that client? Now, this is really, really important, everyone, because when you know what the average sales value is for that client, that's what allows you to look at different ways you can market or advertise your business so that you can go, I know that if I get one client that's worth $5,000, this method of advertising is completely covered. Does that make sense, guys? So let's temp check this, okay? We've discussed how in the past finding contacts was difficult. Now we're talking about how AI is now streamlining the outreach process. You can then see all the different ways of names, job positions, staff count, websites, yada, 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 right? All the data that you could possibly need, which is going to build out into something a lot quicker than a spreadsheet or onto a piece of paper or a notepad. But then you've then got more qualified contacts within that as well, okay? And then the last part that we just touched on then was, what is a sale worth to you, right? Because once you know what the sale's worth to you, whether it's $100 sale or $100,000 sale, and if it's a one-time or a reoccurring, then you can start to position the best way to market and advertise your business, all right? So jumping into number 2, landing high-ticket clients takes hard work, right? We hear this from people all the time, like, oh, trying to get a high-ticket client, like, you know, trying to land one of them, you got to put more time into it, it's hard work. And realistically, it's what we see as a big barrier where people end up going into like that endless grind, right? And they're trying to achieve the goal, but they're working long hours. But I just want to challenge this, right? Because it's not about working harder. It's seriously about working smarter. Um, if you think about this, right, securing high ticket clients, if it seriously was only hard work to get high ticket clients, right, to be successful, who agrees that we'd all be absolutely going, well, that's all I'm going to do is I'm just going to slave away to make my success. But I can tell you that this is absolutely wrong, because when I was younger and I first came out of school and I was being a glazier, I was working that job. I was doing after hours with that job. I was working a second job, and I was doing that to make it. I was trying to make it at the young age because everyone was saying, work harder to pay off, work harder to pay off. It worked so against my favor, it ended up costing me bigger than that, because what ended up happening was I finished it at one of my jobs and I was heading out to the next one. And it was late at night. I fell asleep on the highway with my eyes open. I'll clearly put out there. That's how exhausted I was. And I ended up crashing my car on the highway, running into a guardrail. And so very fortunate that I can still live and tell that story, because I hope people can learn from it, because it was my aha moment that slaving away is not the way to actually just put in this hard work to get to where we want to be. I believe that in business or anything that we're doing, that you should be putting in maximum effort with stuff when you need to, right? Maximum effort is very different to going on the grind and doing 15-hour days, right? Because when you actually break it down and start putting it into a strategy, you start targeting your market, you start building a genuine relationship with people, and you then start looking at how you can make irresistible offers where people are feeling like they'd be a fool to say no to it, right? Then you've got something that you can go to market with. Then what you do is you work smarter again. You start leveraging tools, technology that are all things that are like available right now, so that you can gain back the hours that might be wasted in trying to make all of these sales and working those long hours. Okay, so it's about how you focus your effort to being able to do that. So we need to go from the work smarter, not harder. Like, I want you to write that down, and again, sticky note that to your screen. But you want to be able to do this a lot smarter than working silly hours, because it can come at a cost. I've seen people that have had mental health concerns. I've seen people take their lives over this because they feel like there's no other way when they get to that point of embedding themselves so deep in their business. So what we need to look at is, how do we do this, but do this without it being a small outreach? Because small outreach really still means that we've got low sales. Okay, that could be sending an email, that could be trying to do a call, but realistically, like I go back to the stat that I mentioned before, saying yes 3 times or more increases your chances by what? Right? It increases your chances by 70%, which is huge. Most people stop at 1 contact. So let's pretend that high ticket businesses are fish, right? And I'll tell you a bit of a story on how we can do this. So this is an area called Beauty Point where I live. And so we're out there, me and my son go fishing. It's absolutely awesome. We're not great at fishing, but we love doing it. And what's really cool about this is, when it's summertime here, we have so many tourists that come down, because there's on the dock there's a place called Seahorse World and Platypus House, right? So it's got seahorses and platypus museums inside it where people can actually see them. So what it does is it pulls in a lot of tourists from all over the world. Anyway, there was this guy who came over and he goes, "What are you fishing for?" And I'm like to think I'm pretty funny with my bad dad jokes, but I was like, "For fish." Right? And he goes, "Yeah, but what are you using for bait?" And I said, "Bait." He's like, "Yeah, but mate," he goes, "what are you doing to get the fish?" I said, "Well, I'm using the fishing rod." He's like, "Look out there." Right? And he's pointing out at the water. He goes, "What's out there?" I said, "The fish." He goes, "And you're here, mate. You're here." He goes, "So how do we get all those fish out there to come to this spot here where your hook is?" And I had no idea, because like I said, we're not big we're not big fishermen. It's just something that my son and I enjoy doing. So he started talking about, right, well, first you need to have burley and a burley bucket, and you can use fish oil, and that'll cause a trail to go out into the ocean. The fish will then swim up there and start to come in closer to the line. Then what we were doing, right, is we were learning how to do high outreach, because then we went from 1 fishing rod to 2 fishing rods. So then me and my son had 2 fishing rods out at one time. Then we had the burley bucket out. Then we had the oil out. And so we still use these same techniques that this guy popped over and gave us advice on to this day. And we're grateful for, because it's actually helped us have our higher outreach. So when you look at that, business is the same. You can do things in ones or twos or drips and drabs, but you want to have a system that you can kind of set and forget, that you can actually put into play, sit back and see the things happening. To do that, you automate things. Okay. Now, you can automate this in so many different ways. There's a bunch of providers up there: Keep, HubSpot, Kajabi. Some of them have free trials. Some of them have set amounts. Some of them go, once you've got 100 leads, we'll start charging you $100. If you've got 1,000 leads, we might start charging you $700. I worked with the largest independently owned digital agency in Australia, right? And they were spending about $700,000 on a CRM. Okay, so CRMs have their place because you can use them in effective ways to market your business. Now, the other cool part of that is we have a CRM that we use. So a shameless plug, Boulder Digital. Say g'day. But what you notice on this screen that I'm showing you here is that we are showing you that you can ask for the sale 3 times to increase your chances by 70%. If you have a look on there, everything is automated. We're talking about email 1, we wait a day. Email 2, we wait a day. We're not going email, right? We want to give people time. People are in business, they're busy people. But notice that rather than just sending out the exact same email, we've worked out our market, we've worked out our offer, and we've crafted the emails to go out and work at different angles, right? So that we can actually see if we can build a relationship with these people to get them to engage with us. And then it's all in the follow-up, right? This campaign, I've got a skincare business. It's like my child that I don't care about, so to speak, out of all of my businesses. It was more a love project when we were putting it together. But this is my skincare business, okay? When people say to me, I've got a niche business, Jared, mate, doesn't get much more niche than a male handmade skincare line coming out of Tasmania. But what we did is we then started using the leads tool to pull in different types of leads. So we had florists, we had hamper shops, we had jewelry stores, okay? We even had the trophy stores. So I kid you not, we did this just as a test to show people how it works. I had people viewing the website, filling out the contact form, replying in emails, leaving voicemails. I wasn't going back to those voicemails because I didn't really want to push the product. I just wanted to do the test. And we had people continuously following us up to talk about doing business with us. And all we were doing was going, hey, I'm Jared, I'm based in Tasmania, I'm a local maker for crafting male skincare. Thought that we might have some synergy that might align with stocking our product in your store. If that sounds interesting to you, come back to me, right? Super, super simple stuff. What you'll also see is this wasn't over 5 days. This campaign, if you look up the top there, it says a 3-day campaign, because we knew at this stage, asking 3 times increases the chances by 70%. What we do with our clients now is 5 emails, because we want to better our chances. Okay. Now I can tell you, I didn't go out of my way to sell any of that stock. In fact, I ended up having a tea shop, of all things, a tea shop buy $480 worth of stock, okay, on the mainland, on the top half of Australia. Of all things, I didn't believe that we would have our skincare being sold in a tea shop. That's how random it was for us. Now, if for any reason they're not interested after 5 emails, guys, we actually then back off, because I've just seen a question asking about that. Because if they're not interested after 5 interactions, who would agree that that's pretty fair, that they may not have interest or timing might not be right? So we don't want to bash them down, okay? We want to keep this ethical. We don't want to just bang on their doors until they say yes. Instead, what we can then do is put them into a wait period and then move them into another campaign a month later to try talking about a different way that we can position our service or offer to see if they're interested. Now, we even had trophy stores ringing me up going, Jared, I seen that you wanted to list your product with us. Just wanted to see how that looks, like how you think we could do it. And I'm thinking, shit, I didn't even know that we had actually reached out to trophy stores. I'm like, oh, look, I actually don't know, mate, what that could look like. Like, how do you see it? Because, you know, basically you're giving out trophies, not skincare. He's like, no, but hear me out, because we can give them the trophy, but an award with the trophy can be the skincare. So notice he's already working it out for me. And again, all of this was done on automation, and then I'm just dealing with the inquiry coming back. So super, super powerful stuff, okay? So when we're looking at this, what we've been able to do is bust down these myths of high-ticket business leads are only for big companies. And we've also shown you that landing high-ticket clients does not take hard work, okay? Now, the last myth is that we've got high-ticket clients that don't want to work with me, okay? This is paralyzing. I see people that are stuck in their business. They aren't moving forward. They're not growing. They've got sales that are covering their costs. They're servicing those people, but they're not moving forward to try and find that next opportunity. And so they're stunting their growth, okay? Now, when we're looking at the reasons why clients potential clients might be saying no to you, right? You might feel like they look like this guy when you're trying to contact them, right? But when you contact people, you might get the common objections where they're banging out things like, oh, look, I don't have the time. No, look, someone's already handling that for us. No, look, I'm not interested. Yeah, thanks for that, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you've experienced that. And I'd feel really uncomfortable if you said that you hadn't experienced that, because it means that you haven't tried to have these conversations with people, right? Now, notice, oh, that was a little slurpy noise for my coffee. We caught that on the mic. Notice that with these objections, that they're repetitive, okay? They're normally the same, okay? What I mean by that is someone can say that they don't have the budget, but they can say that in about 10 different ways, but it's normally the same thing that they're coming back to you with, right? So the key to this is understanding how to address the objections effectively, right? When they say that they don't have the time, right, it's an opportunity for you to talk about how you can save them time, okay? If you've got someone that's saying that they've already got someone handling that for them, one of the great ways of doing that is going, hey, Leo, that sounds great. What do you like about what they're doing for you right now? Oh, well, I like this, 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 and this. Great. What do you think that they could do better? Now, what have we got? We've got a conversation, and we've then found out what could be done better, right? Super powerful, because if you find out what could be done better, and that could even just be being serviced better, and you do that really well, Leo's in. Leo's straight in there and can go, well, mate, I'm so glad that you brought that up. That's one of the things that we have our highest focus on, right? Then if you've got people that then say, I'm not interested, right? What you can then do is you want to aim on building a connection and understanding what they're not actually interested in, so that you can then see if you can tailor your solution or change your offer to suit it. All right, so let's jump into some objection handling hacks. And like I said, I'm going to provide you one of the most amazing techniques that I've used since forever, so that you guys can really get a big kick out of this. So to make sure you're not leaving any money on the table, I've got 3 hacks for us to go over, okay? The first one is asking for the business, because I've seen this countless times where I've seen salespeople on sales floors where they've had an incredible conversation with someone about a product or service where they can help them. The client or prospective client has then shown buying signals that they would benefit from it. And then they cut themselves short by going, oh, well, look, that's everything. So I guess you're going to want some time to think about it. So I'll let you go do that, right? And you may want me to give you some information about this. I'll just send it in an email. And in the email, it's got my contact details. So you just come back to me when you're ready. Who would agree? Pop a 2 in the chat that you've just walked away from that business because you've just kept on pushing the business away back to them, right? You're pushing it back on them to make that decision. But remember what I said before, asking 3 times for the sale increases your chances by 70%. But that means that I can't get on there and go, hey, Brianna, do you want to buy? No. Brianna, do you want to buy? No. Brianna, do you want to buy? Yes. Doesn't work like that. So then what we need to do is we need to work out how we can work around some of these objections. Write this down and use this as your mantra moving forward, because this is literally helping thousands of people in the space of business. This technique is called ART, A-R-T, okay? And this is a technique that's used to handle objections, but to also isolate false objections, the facade, the thing that's not real. Okay. So if someone says to me, hey, look, I can't afford that, what I do is I then appreciate it, because who here has been on the phone with someone and they just ignore it and they keep reading off their script, right? We've all experienced that. No, my objection. You're like, they're not listening to me. So the first one is appreciate. Jared, I can't afford that right now. Hey, Leo, I can appreciate that you can't afford that right now. So I've appreciated the concern. Then I relate to it. Mate, given the world right now, you wouldn't be the first person to say that to me, and you're definitely not going to be the last. And then we transition. Leo, if I could take the money out of the situation right now and just set it aside, tell me, mate, would you do it? Now what I've done is I'm trying to work out if the money actually is Leo's real problem, or if Leo has an underlying thing that's holding him back from moving forward. Then he might go, well, you know what? I just don't know enough about yourself. And I can go, mate, I'm so glad that you brought that up. Look, I've been in business now for over a decade, and I've been able to work with the big box retailers all the way down to the little guys that are lucky to make $2.50 off a cup of coffee. But one thing that I've learned is businesses are about scale and sales. It's just that they've got to do it in their own way, in their own right, with their own budgets. And so what we do is we help to streamline that process and automate it from start to finish so that you can then make more sales within your business. Do you feel like that's helpful, knowing that information? Yes. Could you see yourself benefiting from that, Leo? Yes. Where do you think we should go from here? Now, what's cool with this is you can loop the art technique 3 times. Any more than that, you start to sound like a robot, because they'll pick up on the notion. You can do it more, but typically 3 is good, because sometimes people may have multiple objections and the first one wasn't even the real objection. It wasn't actually the money. So you're using this technique to actually dig down a little bit deeper to understand what they actually need or what's holding them back from moving forward with you, so that you can genuinely help them. So if you find that one tip alone helpful, I'd love for you guys to pop a 1 in the chat, because we've seen that one technique do awesome things for people. So now what we want to look at is the new truth, right? We want to look at the truths, not the myths. Truth number 1 now is we can use the AI lead finding tool to find high ticket clients. Okay. Truth number 2 is we can automate and scale our outreach efforts, which no longer takes up our time. And truth number 3 is we can deal with the real objection, not the facade, and close more deals, right? And to do that, we're automating the process of finding our leads. We're automating the scale. We're helping the lead to learn about our product or service. And then you guys get notified on the replies and the booked calls. And then you make more sales, but hopefully don't have a weird AI mouth like the ones in this picture, because they do look a little bit creepy, I'll admit. But what you can end up doing is having a streamlined process, because then what you've got is a 3-step automated process that's coming through here of being able to pull it all together. Find the contacts, automate the outreach, close the deals. Okay. Now, I said to you, by sticking around towards the end, I was going to give you a gift. And so this is the gift for you guys here. I'm giving this a whirl in America with you guys at the moment, but here's the number that I need you to text the word sniper to. When you text the word sniper, it will ask you for your contact details, and it will then send you through a copy of the objection handling guide. Okay. And this is my way of saying thank you. It's the art technique. It's a deeper dive. It breaks down that process in more detail, because it's not just a quick thing that you can process and cover in a couple of minutes. But this is a thank you for everyone that's still with me on the call. Now, I want to ask you guys, right? We've been talking on this call now for about 50 minutes. All right. And it's been awesome for me, because I've been able to take what we're doing here in Australia and teach you guys over in your neck of the woods, wherever you are in the States or Canada, everything that you need to know about what's working right now in the market. And so I want to ask you guys, by a raise of hands or a 1 in the chat, how many of you are actually feeling a little bit like this guy right now, right? Drinking the Kool-Aid and going, wow, there's a bit there to try and take in to start implementing for myself. right? Well, what I'd like to do is if I were able to show you a way to implement all of this yourself, where you could get started today, I'm curious to know how many people would be interested. Pop a 2 in the chat if that's of interest, because what I'd love to do is I've actually prepared a special package for you guys, because as I said, yesterday was our first number 10 webinar consecutively. And today is our very, very, very first time doing a webinar over with you guys from Australia. And so if you guys would like to see what we've put together, put a 2 in the chat. If you don't, that's okay. I already know this stuff. But if you're interested in knowing more about this offer, pop a 2 in the chat and we can find out more information to go from there. Awesome, awesome. All right, guys. Well, look, I like to ask for permission with this stuff because, you know, at the end of the day, it's not about being in that space of doing a hard sell. It's about showing you guys what's actually possible. So I appreciate those that have actually said that they want to check this out. So who's the sniper method process for? Let me show you. It's for business owners, entrepreneurs, BDMs, used it as a BDM, sales reps, anyone looking to offer their product or service to a business. Okay. And what it is we've called it the Sniper Method Program. Now, this is a complete done with you service to not only help you get it started, but also to help you get it running and working with you along the way so that you've got everything coming together to find the leads, to then nurture them with the automation and then increase your sales to close those deals. All right. Now, typically people show testimonial videos and then we awkwardly sit here for 45 seconds hearing them talk about that. That's not my style. Instead, what I've done is I've taken the bits from Matt talking about his experience with the Sniper Method. And as you can see, he's got a pressure washing business here in Australia. And originally what he was doing was the small residential jobs, right? And so he had plenty of work coming in for those residential jobs, but he's in a market where he's like competing for that business, right? And he's having to do it at low margins, which meant that they were putting in a large amount of work for an income. What we then did is we used the Sniper Method for him to start landing more of those commercial high ticket clients where they're now still working hard, but not hard as far as time and effort, but they're actually making more money because they're actually working with bigger clients that actually are more qualified. They want the job done. They want the job done well. And because of that, they can actually put more effort into it rather than doing a $100 deal and then providing no value to it, right? And then Matt said that it's worth your time and it's helped his business grow. So this is what we've put together to share with you all, right? Is we're giving you a complete training, start to finish, on how to put all this together, okay? This is to help you to land high ticket clients using the Sniper Method without spending thousands of dollars on ads, okay? Because I've shared that with you already, that you can use advertising platforms like Google and Meta and things like that. This is showing you a way to go another way without having to invest that money into doing that. You can then see that it's got all these different modules, including objection handling is one of those. And it's helping you to uncover better conversations with these people and better processes for your business. Now, when we were doing this as a single product for people in the sales coaching space, we were doing that at $795. All right. So what you were getting was the complete training on how to land those clients using that without spending thousands on ads. But then the next part that you're going to need is the automation. So what we've done is we've developed 2 campaigns for you, right? Someone made a comment in the chat earlier about what happens after the 5 emails. Well, after those 5 emails, we wait 30 days and then we put them into our second campaign. Now, in the examples that I've shown you, you have pipelines, which is the customer journey path from start to finish, showing you where they're at. And it's all automated. So you can watch where they're moving through, opening emails, clicking, replying, watching things, right? And you're going to get notified by email and through an app on your phone every single step of the way. You're also then going to be able to integrate your calendar into the system so that you're then getting these calls booked into your calendar without it conflicting with your current things that you've got in there at the moment. We're then going to give you video scripts so that you can create videos. We're then going to give you Canva resources so that you can make lead magnets, like in that example, in under 30 minutes, right? We've just done training on this last Friday talking about this. Now, the other thing that we do is we give you a customized landing page so that you can talk about who you are, what you're great at, and the people that you help. When we're working with people to set this up, it's normally $600, okay, from start to finish working with them to set it up. So what we're giving you is the complete training so that you can land those high ticket clients without spending thousands of bucks on ads. And we're giving you the drag and drop automations so that you're actually up and running with your automations, with your emails, with your wait periods, and all of the stuff to measure it all, right? And that's valued at 1,395. But then you may have had some questions. So then what we do, right, is we do a weekly offers hour call on Fridays. For me, Friday, for you guys, Thursday. And it happens in about another hour, okay? Now, what happens there is we do a Q&A, we do coaching, we do training, and we show you new things that are working well in marketing in that space. And so you can come along to that every week, and then you can share your wins, but you can also ask for advice, ideas, coaching, objection handling, etc. by doing that. And the value for it is normally $200. So notice that we're giving you everything, right? Because we're giving you the complete training so that you can actually start reaching out to these people without spending the money on ads. You're then getting the automation so that you're not having to try and work out automations. You're not trying to work out how to set it up, the communication, what to write in them and things like that. But then you're also getting access to the weekly office hours, which is valued at 1,595. Okay. This part I threw in for today because, again, I just wanted to make this special. But what I also am offering is a one-on-one coaching call, but the coaching call is with me and not with one of my team. Okay. Like I said to you, I've been in this space for a really long time and I've worked across so many different niches. And the benefit of that is that we can work with you to work out if you're working with B2B clients or business to consumer. We can help you recreate offers. We can help you restructure your business. We can find new opportunities for additional sales. And we can do all of that in our call together on the activation call, okay? And that's valued at $330. Hence the reason why I also do these webinars is because I do one-to-many, because normally for my time, it's $330 an hour. So when you see all of this starting to come together, notice that it's all here. You've got the training so you can actually go through this and close more of those deals. You've got the automation, so you don't have to worry about automation, okay? That's the massive hit there. You've then got access to our weekly office hours, and then you have that one-on-one call with me personally. So once you put that together, everything to be successful, plus something extra that I may have for you, works out to 2,222, right? But what we've done, because we wanted to put something special together for those that are jumping on this call with us, because again, coming from Australia and doing this for the first time over in your neck of the world was really exciting for me. So I said to the team, let's put something really, really good together. What we're doing is we're offering this at $97 a month USD with no lock-in contract. No lock-in contract, none of that stuff. But the caveat of this, okay? Yesterday in Australia was our 10th webinar in a row. We've had crazy, crazy success in Australia, and this is why we've brought it over to you. So what we're doing now for you guys as well, on top of what we've shared with you for the 97 a month, is we're actually going to give you our free lead gen software. So we're actually going to give you the lead gen software where we showed you how you can find the leads. We're going to give you 100 lead credits, which means if you're searching for industry, like I was showing you earlier, you'll actually find you'll get between 100 to 150 contacts in 1 month alone. And then you'll be able to use this to do the drag and drop automations so that you can automate all of that outreach month on month and then see people coming back with their replies and booking in those calls to work with you. Now, because we're offering this free, we have a limit on this. So you can have one website where we've got pre-designed websites. You can also host up to 3 funnels in there. So we've got a template of different funnels and we'll be building one of those with you. You can store 1,000 leads in there. Plus you'll have 1,000 monthly automation actions as well. Okay. Now that's normally valued at $297. So this then gives you everything that you need to win, because now what you've got is you've got the training, you've then saving money because you're not spending thousands on ads. You've got the drag and drop automations so that you can put it all into play and watch it run. You've then got access to our weekly office hours, plus the one-on-one call with me. And then the bonus is that you get the lead gen software with 100 leads in that for that month as well, right? Valued at $297. So I've opened up the checkout and I dropped this in the chat for you guys as well, so that you've got a copy of this, making sure I put that in there right. But I just want to show you what that page looks like so that when you're coming through, you can see what I've got on here. So when you come over to this page, you're going to see a video here and then everything that we've spoken about with what's included. Okay, you can see that we've got a couple of options here, but this is the option that we've just spoken about. Getting the complete training, drag and drop automations, the weekly office hours, the one-on-one activation session, and then the free lead gen software. Okay, now this deal is closing by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Okay, and what will happen is we've had people try and jump on board after this, and the page will redirect to Vin Diesel saying you're too late in a funny gif. Okay, so this is a genuine offer that we're putting together for you. Down here, you can choose to put in your details and which package you want to get started. And then you've got a couple of different payment options to get started. Okay, so that's how you can head over to there now so that you can get started. And I just wanted to share with you that jumping onto this, I had a couple of options. First option was to like do a trial or offer it for free, but I can tell you now that makes it really hard for me to stack in the value. Okay, whereas the second option required a slightly higher investment, but now what you'll notice is in exchange, I can give you more of my time with a one-on-one, right? I can give you more of these resources. We can give you the automation. Our team can help you build it out and you're going to get 100 leads every month. Okay. Now you've got two options. You've been on this call with me now for a bit over an hour. And I don't take that lightly, but you've got a couple of options. The one that you could do is nothing. And that's 100% risk-free, right? It means that you could literally jump off this call, but then what you've done is you've jumped on this call for an hour and you've gone, you know what, that's where I'll land it there. Risk-free, but you then are missing out on the opportunity to see how you can actually scale your business with the way that's going to be the future moving forward. Okay. Now, the second option is where you saddle up with that small investment of $97 a month and give it a shot, right? Because if you guys don't make money, if you're not getting value from what we're doing with you, then I don't deserve your money. Simple as that. But what I will tell you is I've added in here a bit of a sweetener. For the first 5 people that are joining us today, I'm going to make everything on the system unlimited. So that means that you can have more than one email, more than one website. You can have as many contacts in there as you want. You can have unlimited automations, and it means that you can do all of that. Okay, gives you all of those options. So all up, we're giving you the training on how to land those high ticket clients. We're then showing you how you can do the drag and drop automations and building that with you, right, as a team. We're then giving you access to our weekly office hours, our activation session with me, and then we're giving you the free lead gen software as well. And all of that is $97 a month USD. Okay, normally valued at $2,222. Now, I want to make this so easy for you. As you can see here, implement it, give it a go, and I'll give you a 30-day guarantee that if you're not happy with it, you can have your money back. Like $97 at the end of the day is not what helps our business scale. What helps our business scale is working with you deeper on more than one way with multiple ways of actually growing your business. But this is where it can start, right? This is why we've made it so well suited to give you an automated process so you can do it all together. Then you've got those people that are the aggressive, dominant behavior types that go, what if I want more leads, Jared? Mate, got you covered. If you want more leads, we can give you 300 of them. And then that's $197 a month USD. Again, no lock-in contract. So that means that you can actually jump in there and have 300 leads where you can then contact them every single month on autopilot and have those conversations so that you can actually get moving. Okay. So this is everything that's here. Okay. This is the entire breakdown. What you're going to get is a complete training, how to land those high ticket clients. Okay. Without having to spend a heap of money on ads. You're then going to be getting the drag and drop automations. Okay, that means that you're going to have your emails done, your pipelines. We're going to set you up with an app so that you can actually measure all of this on your phone. We're also going to connect your email as well so that you're getting emailed when people are replying, opening, going through to your landing pages, viewing your lead magnets, so that you are up to date with every step of the way of where those people are at. We're then going to give you access to our weekly office hours, which means that if you're still available after you sign up with us today, in an hour and 20 minutes, roughly, you'll be able to join us on that session and catch up with the group. Okay. And then the next one there is a one-on-one activation call with me. Like I said, I normally do an hour of my time at $330. Okay. Because I really value time and I value the time that you guys have given me jumping on this call. And then the caveat of all of this is giving you the lead gen software with 100 leads every month. Okay. Normally valued at $297. Again, for the people that jump on board, the first 5 to join will literally have everything unlocked. They'll be able to go in there and have all of that unlocked. They'll be able to start getting their leads in there and they'll start being able to automate the process. So what you need to do is go to the checkout page. Once you've gone to the checkout page, you'll see the options of the 97 or the 197. You choose what you feel is best for you. Once you put in your details, you'll go to the next page, which is then talking about the product and then also talking about booking in a one-on-one activation call with me. By booking in that call, we'll have that in our calendar and then we'll be able to go from there. Okay. So once you've gone through to that process, that's where we'll jump on that call. We'll have that one-on-one and then we'll be able to go into more detail. Now, going into here, I can see that we've got a few questions that came through. Can this be 97 a month? It is 97 a month. So that's a great question. I hope that I've answered that. Gotcha. Chandra was in a meeting. So that's everything that's there, guys. I hope that you've been able to benefit from this and really get a good kick out of it. I've enjoyed being able to do this. I normally do this overnight, so it's nice to actually do these through the day and meet up with all of the people that have been on this call. But I just want to remind you that if you've got any questions or things that are holding you back, right, I just want you to go through and have a look at booking in a call with us, okay? There's an option there to book a call for 15 minutes. If you feel that you've got something holding you back, but you're genuine about looking at how we can help you, we would love to have that opportunity to have a conversation with you. And so I ask you to jump on there and feel free to book in one of those 15-minute calls so that we can work with you to look at that opportunity. And apart from that, I want to thank you all for coming along. Be bold, make impact, and I'll speak to you all on the other side.